Hello Capricorn, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Capricorn for the next 3 months. So this will cover the period between July, August, and September. If you're more of a business person, this would be Q3 or quarter 3 of 2022. With that said, do keep in mind this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate. Drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Let's go and see what we have here for you, Capricorn. Now, I am using the Gilded Tarot, the Rider-Waite Tarot, and the Higher Self Affirmation deck. There are links to all of these decks in the description below. It is still the case that less than 50% of the people who watch my content are actually subscribed, and so if you have not yet hit the subscribe button, please do consider doing that. It really helps my channel grow in a big way. All right, let me make sure we're all set up and in view. We'll get right into it. I think that looks just about good enough to me. Also take 3 of these affirmation cards here. All right, energy on the bottom. You have the Two of Cups. So Two of Cups is a card that I really love to see in a tarot reading. In fact, this is my favorite romance card to find in any reading. You can see that there are 2 souls here linking up in this lifetime after having known each other in a previous lifetime. And so this can signify the start of a very deep connection with somebody. In fact, it's more like the continuation of a very deep connection with somebody, because even if you've just met them for the first time, it's very likely that you've met before in previous lifetimes if you believe in past lives. If not, you're both just energetically aligned at a very high level. Now, if you're not here for love, what this can talk about is your maybe something relating to partnerships in your life. You could be partnering with another person to solve a problem, or partnering with somebody in business. You could be partnering with yourself and saying, okay, I'm going to make a commitment to myself, maybe your higher self, as we have the Higher Self Affirmation deck here. Maybe you're making a commitment to yourself or communing with your higher self in some way to come up with something, to come up with a problem to something, or a solution to a problem or something like that. Let's go ahead and put that right there and see what else we have. So in the overall situation, you do have the Empress card as well. The Empress card is the mother archetype. It's a very good card to find in the tarot. It's seen as a good omen. The reason being is this is also, it's not just the mother archetype, it's also the biggest card of abundance in the tarot. This is your ability to use the abundant resources that you have at hand to see something grow. Okay, this is also Venus energy. Venus is one of the planets of money, abundance, luxury, wealth, the markets, anything like that in astrology. And you can see that they're holding on to this Venus symbol here. And so it is a very good card indicating abundance in general. This is your ability to it's also about fertility and prosperity. It's your ability to see something grow, just like a mother would see their children grow and help their children grow. And so, if I'm putting this together here, you actually have probably the 2 most abundant cards plus the 9 of Pentacles here in this interesting V shape, but they're both diagonally kind of aligned with the Empress here. And so I feel like saying X marks the spot. I've never said that, but you may be finding something, okay? You may be finding something in this next 3-month stretch, whether that's like something in the attic or the closet that you can sell, or which is more of a literal definition of what I was saying, or you might be finding something about yourself that unlocks earning potential, or you may be finding a job, you may be finding a partner, right? You may also be finding a skill set through learning, but I think that some of you are finding something in this next 3 months, and I think it's probably going to be pretty good for you in terms of your material situation. Now in July, you have the 10 of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Knight of Wands. So The 10 of Pentacles here is a card of really total abundance, just like the Empress. It's actually Very similar, but the thing about the Ten of Pentacles is tens in tarot, which you have two of them here, represent completions. And so the Ten of Pentacles can be this feeling of like the chest at the end of the rainbow, right? This is not something that has been this is not like a lottery win. This is something that has taken some time to develop because you started with the Ace of Pentacles, which is like planting a seed, and it's grown into the Ten of Pentacles, which is the sort of harvest of the seed that you that you planted a long time ago. And I mean, you have this symbolism all over the place here with the Empress. Now, there could be some of you here, I don't think that this is for everybody. There could be some of you here that is realizing that you are dealing with that you have an inheritance or a windfall that's derived from family in the next 3 months. That's not going to be for everybody, okay? That's not going to be for everybody, but you have that with this Empress energy, and the Ten of Cups is an energy of family. The Ten of Pentacles can be a card that indicates money being passed through generations, but even if you think about it, it's like if there is an inheritance, if there is something that's being passed down to you, whatever that thing is that is being passed down to you, it's taken a long time for that to grow. Like if you're inheriting something, whatever you're inheriting has likely taken a long time to grow from whoever you're inheriting it from, right? Hopefully that makes sense. I'm like having a hard time communicating it, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Like this is slow and steady. As you see the turtle here, slow and steady wins the race, slow and steady growth. Now we also see here in July, we see Chariot and the Knight of Wands, which is big movement, okay? Things moving along, things progressing. The Chariot is like getting in your chariot and moving ahead, making progress forward. It is self-discipline that brings about victory, or a victory derived from self-discipline. You also have this here with the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands can indicate moving to a new location. It's possible that some of you are maybe thinking about selling or buying real estate as well, because we have these double tens. You can actually see the house symbolism on the Ten of Cups, which is seen in other versions of the tarot as well. On the Ten of Cups, you see like the farmhouse in the illustration. And so that is definitely something that some of you may be doing. You may be moving house or selling house or buying house, something like that going on here. Especially because that's a huge purchase or a huge sale, and that's like the kind of situation that can come through with a Ten of Pentacles. In the month of August, you have the Five of Cups, you have the Empress, and you have the aforementioned Ten of Cups here. So Five of Cups is a little bit of grief type of energy. Maybe there's something that's going on here that's bittersweet. Inheritances come to mind as being bittersweet. Now, I'm not trying to forecast negativity or anything like that. I think that ultimately there's something positive going on here, and I don't think everybody's going to be dealing with an inheritance, but the Five of Cups in the upper row is thinking about, it's like sadness energy, but the thing is it's coming in the row of your thoughts, right? And so it's less about your emotions and your feelings and more about your thoughts when you get it in the upper row. And so is there a tendency to think negatively, Capricorn, whatever situation you find yourself in, because this person is really focused on these three cups that are spilled, when in reality there are two behind them that are upright. Just like you have this Two of Cups here on the bottom, right? So you see the Two of Cups symbolism actually twice here showing up in the 5 and the 2. And so it's like how are you choosing to view or look at a situation over the next 3 months? And I think that that's very important for you here. It's easier said than done, but I do feel like that's coming in. Now you have the Empress, which I talked about being a major card of abundance. I think it's an important time for me to say that really abundance, when you hear at least me talk about abundance on my readings, I'm not talking about like money falling from the sky or anything like that. I'm talking about more about like your energy, right? Kind of aligning with the frequency of abundance. And I'm also talking about how abundance is really about your ability to receive. Okay, and so for example, you're looking for a job, right? In your mind, you might be like, well, there's maybe one job out there, and then you start thinking more in terms of abundance, and all of a sudden you have 4 job offers instead of 1, right? That's a form of abundance. You have this here with the Ten of Cups as well, which Ten of Cups is total happiness in your life. It's the feeling of having all 10 cups overflowing. You can see the house symbolism here. You can see the young family own the home behind them. And so for me, it's also a major card of abundance. Capricorn, you have something very big here. This looks very, very good for you in this next 3-month period. It's hard for me to say. This is kind of a very general reading, but what I can say is that there are themes around your material situation and looking pretty good here. Now, in the month of September, you do have the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Wands, and you have the Sun. So the Nine of Pentacles, another one of my favorite cards, and it's interesting, you have these cards in the corners here with the Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, the Sun. This helps lay out the reading, and it provides additional context for the reading. And so it's like your thoughts right now, it's very, very important that your thoughts are as positive as possible. Okay, positive thinking is not going to fix everything, but positive thinking is a net positive, as opposed to negative thinking being a net negative in your life. So dropping this Five of Cups energy and embracing Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, Nine of Pentacles energy. Nine of Pentacles here is really about financial independence. This person has everything that they need. They are living a comfortable life. They are living a financially independent life. It's also potentially a life of luxury. You have the Seven of Wands here as well. Something around competition maybe that may be going on. Could be a family competition. There may be a family member that's, being a little bit competitive here, as you have the Empress and the Ten of Cups, whether it's your mother or another family member or something along those lines. Some of you may just say, okay, we're going to rally the troops together and we're going to try to solve this out collectively instead of trying to argue with each other over the next 3 months. Some of you who are close with family or in like close proximity to family may be doing that. You also have this Sun card here, which for me is an extremely powerful card because as you see on the card, the planets revolve around the sun. The sun has a lot of gravity, and therefore so does this card. And so it pulls in the other cards around them. You have the Ten of Cups. The sun illuminates the positive aspects of cards around it. So this Ten of Cups is really illuminating your family situation, as the Ten of Cups is a card of family. It's also really illuminating your abundance here in this next 3 months. The sun is also about like just happiness, joy, generally in your life. And so there are some very, very good things showing up here for you in this reading, Capricorn. But let's go ahead and see what we have here. See what these 3 affirmation cards say. Okay, so you have rhythm. I expand into growth through cycles of change. Growth is non-linear. Growth is non-linear. Love that message. You have loving detachment. I practice loving detachment. Practice loving detachment. So the energy of attachment is something that I hold on, or I talk about a lot in this on this channel. And it's like we don't realize how many attachments we're holding on to in life, but you can absolutely detach from something while also sending that thing love. So a very common one that people have a hard time with is detaching from family. That doesn't mean like totally cutting them off or never seeing them again, but it also means like lovingly, as this says, detaching from them and giving yourself space, right? Here you also have desire. I harness my desire to create with intention. Creation begins with desire. So I like this. So growth is non-linear, I think is probably the big one for you here, where it's like, remember I said X marks the spot at the beginning of this reading? Well, it's like you're finding something out, or you're figuring something out here, and it's not going to be like right in front of you, right? This isn't like the treasure map is not going to be right in front of you. Like you have to figure out where X leads you. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Let's go ahead and see what else we have. So you have the Eight of Wands. You have the Empress again, that's a very important card. You have the Justice card. You have the Fool, the Devil, and the Page of Pentacles. So when I see the Devil in a Capricorn reading, it's always, for me, it's like you turning inward, because the Devil is the Capricorn card in the tarot. It's less of a challenging message for me typically when I see it in a Capricorn reading, because it is the Capricorn card. However, the Devil can also talk about toxic or unhealthy attachments. And it's almost like this is something that you're figuring out in the next 3 months. And like I said earlier, with this growth is non-linear energy, it's like the path between point A and point B is not going to be a straight line for you. Okay, it's going to take some experiences or something like that to figure it out, or you're going to be building on top of the experiences that you've had to figure this out. Some of you, I'm just going to say this is a very specific message. It's not going to resonate with everybody, but some of you have an attachment to your mother, whether they are here or they have passed on to the next life. Here or passed on, doesn't matter. In this, for what I'm about to say, which is there is an attachment to the mother, even if you don't, or let's say they're still here and you don't live with them, or you live far away from them, or you're out of contact with them, you can still have an attachment. And so it's almost like for some of you here, there's like a loving, like this I practice loving detachment type of energy. That might be a very, very important phrase, or a very, very important affirmation for you to say, I practice loving detachment, over the next 3 months. You have this 8 of Wands, which is really like the pace of things picking up for you, things speeding up in your life. 8 of Wands can say that there's good news arriving, which certainly can be the case here, is you have the Knight of Wands, the Chariot, and now the 8 of Wands. Things are moving in July. This may have already happened since I'm releasing these a little bit into July here. You may have already been feeling this, but yeah. Then you have the Fool, which is like a powerful new beginning in one's life. It's stepping forward into the unknown, knowing that you're going somewhere, but not necessarily knowing where you're going yet, that type of energy. This Fool person is about to jump off the cliff without knowing if they're actually going to land or not. And so sometimes it's this idea of kind of just putting your trust in the universe to guide you in the right direction. You have the Justice card and the Page of Pentacles here showing up in the final row. The Justice card is about karma and balance in one's life. Really though, what the Justice card says, that at the end of the day, all parties get the outcome that they deserve. And so if you've been putting in good work, if you've been kind of, let's say, practicing detachment in a healthy way, that can really come forward to help you here in this final part of the next 3 months. Page of Pentacles says that your prospects in life are generally looking good. There is definitely something that you're finding in this month. For some of you, that may be an offer. For some of you, that may be making an offer, receiving an offer, something like that. But there's also maybe just good news coming into your life as well, and you're finding something as a result. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe. Really appreciate you. I'll see you in the next reading.